Hi, my name is Deanna. Welcome to Plant Heartbeats. A lot of times our heart beats very fast for the wrong reasons with plants. Sometimes we're really nervous that we might lose one of them, especially something so beautiful and special like the Monstera Constellation. So that happened to me a few years back at the beginning of my plant journey when I didn't know how to treat root rot. It was a nightmare, but this nightmare ended up in a happy ending. So I want to share with you about that in this video. So when I just got her, I discovered soon after that her roots were rotting, and I tried different methods and I messed up, but finally I did something that helped her reroot and it was successful. I'll put a link above if you guys want to see the whole video of when I went through that struggle. But in this video you'll see some clips of that video, and at the end you'll see how I repot her into where she's at right now. And I hope this video helps you learn something if you're struggling with something like what I was, and gives you hope that you can save your Monstera Constellation. After a low strip, okay, so like I said, we cut off a little extra all the way to the node part, and now after a low strip, got the only one they sold, Take Root from Garden Safe, because I called the grower and he said that I needed to cut it all off and reroot it. And we're kind of, iffing it because it's like almost September, and all the growing season stops like in October. So here it is. This is the best leaf. This is how the best leaf looks. There's a little bit of yellowing there on the side, a little bit on the bottom. This one's not too bad. But look at these. And then look at this one. You see the yellow on the sides. So basically, my plant had a little bit of browning, but this yellowing that I see right here, it's dehydration. And that's when I was like, it's dying. So anyhow, this is how it looks in water. So I'm wondering if it can suction at this point, since I don't see any long roots, or any little roots. There's a little speck of a root, but I think that's closer to where I cut. This is an area root, and it's basically been like that since I bought it, and that's how it still is. I know I was supposed to have the area root underneath water, because around the area root is a node. So the new roots should be shooting out from around here. Okay, so it's October 17th. Since the last time I filmed when cut all the leaves and put it in water, it was September. It was about a month ago. So about 4 weeks have gone by, and this is what's happened. So it was terrifying to cut all the leaves off, because of course I was afraid it was just gonna die. And 4 weeks later, this is how the leaves are looking. Let me show you the roots, and I guess that's the most important part. Here it is. Happy to see the growth in the roots. So this is, like I said, a month later. I was very curious, like how long was it gonna take? And I wanna say after like being in the water a good 7 days, after the 7-day mark, I started seeing some roots start growing, and this is a month later. I put nothing else in the water other than actual filtered water, and I'm changing it out every 2 to 3 days. Okay, so this is the project for today. We're gonna repot this beautiful Monstera. Look at her. Hear the birds. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot nor too cold. So let's see what's going on here. This is the pot she's in. I believe it's like an 8-inch pot. She's been here for, I don't know if it's closer to 2 years. So I think it's definitely time to check out on her and see how the roots are doing. But if she's full with roots, then we definitely need to upsize her. And I have different pots here, so I can play with different sizes and decide which I'm gonna do. So I just want you to see her, how she looks here before we unpot her. Okay guys, so I'm gonna start with getting my soil. I use one from my local nursery. I would recommend you always talk to your local nursery, see which one they recommend for indoor potted plants. And I recommend that if you play with it, you see what you need. If you need to amend it just a little bit, you can. Adding a little bit of perlite or a little bit of orchid bark is normally what I do to most of my potted plants. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this close to me. And, okay, so I was trying to see, this is with the little terracotta pot where it was sitting inside of this, and look at all the roots that are coming out of from underneath. So I think definitely it's time for repot. I ended up thinking I'm going to use this pot to put in here. It fits perfectly. It's an upsize, but it's not too big of an upsize. So that's the plan. Paris, what you doing here, baby? I don't want to step on you. Okay, so let's see if I can pull this out myself. It's a little bit difficult sometimes when they're in terracotta. I'm actually going to have my husband help me because I don't want to break this Thai constellation. When they're in terracotta, the roots can really adhere to the sides, so you need to kind of scrape them off gently. So we're going to do that, and then we'll show you what's next. Okay, fresh out of her terracotta pot, and this is how her roots are looking. They were being coiled down here, so she definitely needed a bigger pot. She was drying out so quickly, but if you, that's always better, right? With these Thai monsteras, if you can, you want them not to be anywhere they can get root rot. So as we can see here, I've collected a lot of the soil she was in. I'm still going to use it, and now I'm just going to add a lot more of the plant and seed soil. Let's see where she sits there. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, so I'm gonna, you want to back up a little bit? I don't know if you're too close. This thing's pretty big. Okay. Now I'm gonna hold her here. You can hold her place. I'm gonna add the soil. I'm gonna pour some here that you'll put it.
No hay tanta necesidad de grabar.
Okay, so that's it. She's in. We've put all the area roots she had grown. She had grown a lot of area roots. We went ahead and put it in. And I'm not adding any more perlite because I don't have any. And this soil, I trust it. It's from my local nursery, and I like, it is very airy soil. See how it just breaks down? So that's just what's very important, that you have a soil that's already has, this one already has perlite in it, and orchid bark that's kind of in little pieces. But like I keep telling people, you know, from my experience, just that soil that it came with at the beginning from that their nursery came with was very, very dense, and sometimes these nurseries can afford it because their nurseries are hotter and it dries the soil quicker. But inside our house, it's not like a greenhouse, so if you keep it on the soil it came with, it's gonna most likely be too dense and create root rot. So repotting it is always a good idea if it came with a greenhouse soil, especially for indoor plants that are sensitive to root rot, like this one. Okay, she looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and go get my fertilizer, Eskimo, which is my slow release one, and put some granules in here. Just a moment. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pack in the soil to make sure there's no air pockets, and it stabilizes the roots, and I know where my soil level is staying to make sure it's where I want it. And this is the little piece of wood you see here, which is a stake that I'm using to hold it upright because it's so top heavy. It needs something to stabilize it. It's just like a piece of wood we found when we were walking in the park. So it's always good to keep your eyes open. I'm gonna put a little bit more here because I think it visually even looks better than other stuff. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use some earthworm casting, which is good nutrition for the soil, and it doesn't burn plants that I know of or experience with. So it's just like good little nutrients. Now it should spring. We're gonna use the Eskimo Plus, which is, I've been using it a lot for my indoor houseplants. It's slow release fertilizer and it does not burn plants. And now I'm gonna just kind of play it into the soil. So whenever we water it, it releases a little bit of fertilizer in it every time for the next, I think it's up to 6 months. So this is a great feeling. Let's go ahead and put her back in the pot she was at, which is this one here. Grab her. Perfect. This pot is perfect for it. Let's see how she looks. Maybe you can get a nice view from there, Dave, here. Isn't this a beauty? Let me take this out of the way. But yeah, she's been growing in beautifully, and as you can see, she's getting a new leaf right here, right now. I did not mess with the roots much. I did not loosen them. So far, I usually don't do that, and it's less shock for the plant, and she'll find her way. She'll definitely have more space to grow. So I'm really happy because now this little stick is more stable. Before it was such a little shallow soil that it was tipping over, and she needed more water. So this is going to definitely boost more leaves, and I can't wait. She's going to get more bigger and beautiful. So that's my Monstera Constellation upsize, and I just wanted you to see how good she's doing, because a lot of people have questions and if I was able to save this Constellation, and as you can see, she's doing great. So hopefully what you saw in this video helps you have hope that you can save your Monstera Constellation. It does require action. Overall, I would say sometimes cutting those roots that are rotten is very important, as scared as we might be, and rerooting her. I rerooted mine successfully in water, and now I've just, I started her in terracotta, which is the safest thing to do, especially at the beginning when they're getting stabilized and they're still younger. I would say terracotta is what I would do again. Now that she's bigger, a lot more stable with a lot more roots, then I feel more comfortable using this plastic pot. But I'm also gonna, it's not too big either, and I'm gonna be able to and she has a very good soil that I'm comfortable with. So those tips help, and I place her beside a window where she gets sometimes a little bit direct light, but most of the day just bright and direct, and she's doing great. I think bright and direct is the best, not too much direct, to avoid some of this burning of the leaves that sometimes they can get. But other than that, I don't do anything special. She hasn't had any issues with pests, and she is growing in beautifully. Other than she now needs a stake because she needs something to grab onto. So I hope yours does well, does good as well. If you're watching this because maybe you've had issues with yours, you're very scared, I understand you, but there is hope. Hopefully these tips will help you. Thank you for watching. Until the next video. Bye. Hey guys, so I am in repotting vibes. It's time, it's spring. These beautiful Monstera wants to grow, but her pot is very small now. I think she's been in this little small pot, which is even smaller than what you see here. It's what you see here inside, which is I don't know, 6 inches maybe, and she's been here for a couple of years. So I do have a beautiful video that I can link up above, how I found this beautiful variegated Monstera Albo for $12.99. Whoa, I know, it happened to me. I can't believe it. I don't know if you guys have heard that sometimes you can just sporadically find a Monstera that has natural variegation, and it's a natural genetic defect that can happen and creates this little white areas. And we found a little speck on this one. We have a video where I show a little bit about when I found it, and I can link it up above in case you guys want to see it. But now she's grown, and the coolest thing is that she's kept giving me variegation. I think back in the time when I found her with that little speck, her little speck was something like this, because a lot of times people wonder like, how will it look when I'm finding one that has variegation? So it looked something like this. It's not exactly this leaf, but she's lost that leaf already, but it was maybe like, instead of 2 specks, it was like 1 little speck. And that's it. My husband is the one that had the good eye for it, and he told me, hey, come see this. And the moment I saw it, I was like, is that bird poop? That's how it looked to me. But we went ahead, $12.99, we went ahead and got her. She came with another Monstera to make it a little fuller, but the other one was all green, so I ended up separating it, and you'll see that in that video above, I think. And this is 2 years later, so there is hope. You can find something that's not very expensive. I love the way her variegation is partial to one side. And yeah, so let me go ahead and repot her here in this video, and it's time for her to grow even more. So that's why I get excited to do these repots, because I know it means a better life for them. So if you are interested, keep on watching. Okay, so first I'm gonna try to decide what pot I should pot her into. Let's pull her out so you guys can really see where she's at. The other one's a decorative pot. Okay, we just watered her a couple of days ago, but this is the size of her pot currently. So I was debating if this size pot would be good. This is only like a 2-inch upgrade, and that's usually what's recommended. I honestly would like to do even a little bit of a bigger upgrade, just so she can be ready to go, because I see how fast of a grower she is. But I think we're gonna make that decision once I take her out of here and we can see how her roots are looking. So I think I'm gonna stop the cameraman right now so he can help me take her out and we can check out those roots, and I'll show you afterwards. Okay, fresh roots out of the pot. So she does have a lot of roots. They're feeling good, nice and firm. You always watch out, making sure they're not breaking apart. They're not black, they're not mushy. But these, you see the color, it's a light color, that's good. The top ones are usually not the ones that get the root right, it's the bottom ones first. But from what I see, everything, they're of course are covered in soil, but no, everything smells normal. She's been doing good. This is a recycled terracotta pot. There's just two inches more. I think if I want to play it safe, it would be the best thing to just leave her in this one. I was thinking she might even have more roots, thicker and bigger and more compressed, and I would definitely put her in something even bigger. But I think she can do good a year here in this pot. What do you think? I think, yeah, I think a year she can do good here. So if you're gonna err in the don't give her such a big pot, just because you don't want so much soil that takes such a long time for the soil to dry. Hear those beautiful birds? Okay, so now let me get my soil. It's right behind over here, then you'll be right back. Okay, so I have already some soil here. It's from my local nursery, Nursery. It's potting mix for indoor and outdoor plants. It's a very light, airy, fluffy one. And you see how it just breaks down? That's what you want. A lot of times, if you don't see that, you can add perlite to it, and you can add orchid bark. You're never gonna go wrong with adding more of that if you need to. This one, I'm fine with just adding this directly. You know, this moss pole, should go ahead and put it in completely, because it's kind of been wobbly because it didn't have enough soil to go in. So this is the one I made some time ago. I has like a bamboo stick that helps you push it in, which is wonderful. Okay, hopefully enough soil is gonna keep it in place, because I've been having trouble with the small pot and it's staying upright. Okay, and you know, it's good to always push in the soil. That way you know you're eliminating air pockets and how much soil you should put in the pot. You always leave space for about an inch, so whenever you water it, the water doesn't they can have somewhere to stay in the pot and not fall over. Okay, let's see how this moss pull and how if she's standing up. And all the root, she had some area roots, so we just stuck it inside the pot as well. I'm sure she'll throw new area roots soon. Okay, let's see how she's feeling. Okay, well the moss pole, let's see, let it go. Yeah, the moss pole is staying, that's wonderful. And I use these little Velcro straps. I got these at Lowe's, you can get them from Amazon. And they're great because you can reuse them. They're adjustable. And that's it. Okay, so now I wanted to add a little bit of worm castings. This is like a fertilizer for plants, but it's very mild and it's organic, which is wonderful. And it adds minerals to the soil. I'm just gonna dig it in. And I am gonna add some of my fertilizer that I normally use, which is Osmocote. And it's this one, and it's slow release, and it won't burn plants. So I usually sometimes use like both of them, and I haven't had any issues with it. So I just kind of feel this might have something that the earthworm castings didn't. And I like that this feeds it for up to 6 months, so I can forget it. And it is spring. I want her to grow. I'm just pushing it in the soil. Like again, this fertilizer doesn't burn plants, so I don't have to be too nervous of getting too close to the roots or the base of the plant. Some fertilizers you do have to be careful with that. Okay, so that's it. I want to put her in this pot because she'll look prettier. I had just watered her, so there was a little bit of water in there. So we're gonna go ahead and I got this one from Walmart. I think it's beautiful. Got it last year, and it comes with a plastic liner inside, so when I water her, it won't, you know, the water won't go through, and I can always just dump the excess water, and that's it. Let's see if she stays. Just a little wobbly to the left. Actually, when I water her and I press down on her, she's gonna stay better. So that's it. The way I plan to water her is to just water her when the soil is about 3/4 dry. That's kind of usually what I do. I use a moisture meter a lot of times with my Monstera, Albo, and my Constellation, because I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to think that she needs water and water her too quickly. So I do recommend using, I love the measuring stick water meter. If you look it up in Amazon or wherever, it's the water meter for plants. And that kind of is safety so you can know not to water them too often. They like to be let dry first and then you water them. So that's it, a new start for my variegated Monstera Albo. And let's just give a highlight to the new leaf that's unfurling right over here. Isn't this beautiful? The last leaf before this one was this one, but I felt like she wasn't as big as her previous leaves. So to me, that was an indication that she needed to be repotted too. So I hope you enjoyed this, because I did. Thank you for watching. Till the next video. Bye.